Yeah. So am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So let's get started. So you know what we are going to do today, right? So what are the topics we are going to discuss today?
About real
numbers and polynomials.
Real numbers and polynomials, right? It is going to be a quick revision session along with the discussion of some problems which are important for your boards. Okay. And I prefer the session to be interactive. So make sure you're also solving problems along with me. Right? So having said this, shall we get started?
Yes, sir.
Good. Yes. So in real numbers, can you tell me, before I show you the slides, can you people tell me what are the... I don't know what I'm... Yeah. So can you tell me what are the topics we are going to discuss in real numbers?
Rational numbers, irrational
about
numbers.
rational and irrational numbers.
So it's an extension of what you have learned last year, the number systems part, right? We are going to see what are rational numbers and irrational numbers. And mainly what are we going to concentrate upon? We are going to concentrate upon, we'll be concentrating on the
Fundamental
Euclid's
theorem of arithmetic.
Yes, and the Euclid's division lemma, right? So what is the Euclid's division lemma going to speak about? Right? So what is the Euclid's division lemma going to speak about? So let's recollect it. So what are they saying? If A and B are any two positive integers, and what will happen? There will exist two unique integers. What are they? Q and R, such that A will be equal to B into Q plus R. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And how is the value of R going to be? R is going to be greater than or equal to 0, and it will be less than B. Right. So this is about Euclid's division lemma. Now the question is how to solve this problem. So there's one set of questions that they ask you in your exam. Show that any positive odd integers is of the form 6q plus 1, 6q plus 3, or 6q plus y, 5, where q is some integer. So how to start solving this problem? So I'm waiting to hear from you. Have you seen this kind of a problem?
This is deleted, right? This is deleted, sir. Yes,
Euclid's division lemma is omitted, sir.
Then we'll discuss the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Tell me. Yeah. So what does it speak about?
So every composite number can be expressed as a product of prime numbers.
So what do you mean by a composite number? A number obviously which is?
A number that is not divisible by a number other than 1 in itself.
Yes. So a number which is not prime is going to be called as a composite number. And if you take a composite number, how can it be expressed as? It can be expressed as the product of primes.
Prime numbers.
And the factorization is going to be unique, except for the order in which the prime factors occur. Right. So having said this, right, what are some important results that we need to keep in our mind? If I take 1 minute. Okay. Let P be a prime number and A be a positive integer. Then P divides A square. Then what can you conclude? If P is a prime
Two
number,
divisible by A.
yes, then P divides A as well. Next is, if X be a rational number whose decimal expansion terminates, right? Then what can you do to that number? Then X can be expressed in the form P by Q, where P and Q are going to be co-primes. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a call. Just. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, please tell me. So if X is a rational number whose decimal terminates, what do you mean by that? Can you give me an example of such number? Two by 5 can I take? So for this, is the decimal value going to end or not?
Yes, sir.
It will end, sir.
So it will end as 0.4. It is going to
Right,
end. So if you have this kind of a number, then what can you do to that X? Then X can be expressed in the form P by Q, where P and Q are going to be co-primes, and prime factorization of Q is of the form 2 power m into 5 power n, where m and n are what? Where m and n are
Positive.
Non-negative.
non-negative integers, right? Similarly, what about the terms which are non-terminating? What about the numbers which are non-terminating? What can you say about them? Let X be a rational number such that the prime factorization of Q is not of the form 2 power m into 5 power n. Then what can you say? X has a decimal expansion which is non-terminating and repeating. So what is going to happen here? So what is the meaning? Why is this even happening? Can someone tell me the logic for it? It is, most of you might be knowing it already. So what is the logic for it? Why is it supposed to be expressed in the terms of 2 power m into 5 power n? Forget it.
Sir, because 2 into 5 is 10.
Yes, that is the reason. So this 2 into 5, 10 is being factorized into two parts. No, that is 2 into 5. And that is the reason why we are going to have the terminating or non-terminating values. Very good. Okay. So 1 minute, let me pull out your NCERT. Right. Sorry, yeah. In the meanwhile, can you tell me how to find the prime factors of this? Is this a composite number? Yes. So if I take this number 45470971, then what are going to be the prime factors for it? Try it out. Yeah. So what is the first number with which you're going to start? Looking at the last
7.
digit.
7.
Yes.
7.
How did you get that idea?
Because 7 3s are 21, and so it could be decimal.
So you thought you will try with that. Okay. So when you started with 7, what is the other factor you got?
6,
6
6,
4
4,
6 5
9.
8 5 3.
95853.
6, 4,
95853.
9, 5,
8, 5,
8, 5.
8 5
Okay,
3.
next. So here also it is ending with 3. Then what are all the possible numbers that you can think of?
Again, 7 can count.
7, sir.
Again, you want to start with 7?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is that you're getting?
927972.
92797. Again, what will you do? The last digit is ending
2,
with
sir.
sorry,
72.
72. Check it again. 92797. Are you saying 2 is the last digit? If 2 comes, 7 2s is 14. No, here 4 should come. No,
Sir, 9 should come.
it should be 9.
Yeah, it should be 9.
It should be 9 because 9 7s is 63 and the last digit should be 3. I think we started with a very tough problem. It's a very big number. Okay, I'll make it easy. Don't worry. So what is the number we can think of here?
What about
13.
Okay. So if you take it as 13, what are you going to get?
Seven one three
1383, sir.
7 1.
8 3.
Okay, that is right. Again, what will you do?
With 13, sir.
Again, you want to try with 13? Okay, 13. What are you going to get?
Five 5491.
Okay. Then what are the other numbers we can think of?
$17.
Okay.
$323.
323, sir.
Again,
19 times 19. No. 17 times 19.
so here all the numbers are
I think it's 5471.
where ma? 5471. No, it is 91 only.
Yeah.
It is 5491. Okay. So what are you going to get? Don't worry, they'll not ask you this stuff and all. The problem came out to be tough. Okay. 7 square into 13 square into 17 square into 19. Right? This is how you're going to get. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll do some textbook problems. Right? So you know how to find the LCM and HCF, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you do that? Find the LCM and HCF. So how you do that? Of 6 and 20 using prime factorization method. How will you do that? Tell me.
So first we have to write the prime factorization of 6 and 20.
So for 6, what are the prime factors?
2 into 3.
2,
20.
5 into 2 square.
2 2 5.
2 square and
4. Again, 4 can be classified as 2. So it is going to be 5 into 2 square. Right. So for 6, you have 2 into 3. And for 20, you have 5 into 2 square. Now, what is going to be the LCM?
60.
60, sir.
It's
How
60.
did you get that?
2
How did
square
you
into
get
3 into 5, sir.
So why did you do that? So LCM is found how? It is the product of
2 square.
Highest
product
power of
The
all
high,
factors.
of each.
highest power,
product
sir,
of greatest
of all
power
numbers. Of all
of
numbers.
All the prime
of all
factors.
numbers
All the prime
of
factors.
each prime factor,
Yes.
right? Of each prime factor involved in the number. So product of the greatest power of each prime number. So what am I supposed to take? So how many prime numbers are there in this problem? 2, 3, and 5.
5.
5.
So for 2, what is the highest power? 2 square. For
2
3,
square.
what is the highest power? 1.
3 to the
For
1.
5, what is the highest power?
1.
1.
1, 5.
So it's going to be 4 into 3 into 5. So 60 is the right answer. Correct. Similarly, what is going to be the highest common factor?
2 here.
Smallest power of 2.
It is the product of the smallest power of
Smallest
each
power of
prime
common
Of all the
factors.
common
factor.
factors.
Common factor. Yes. So what is common among both?
2.
2.
2.
2.
So, and the smallest power is 1. So 2 power 1 is going to be the highest common factor. So I think this I have discussed. So are you able to understand that least common multiple, the word that is starting with least is giving you a big number, and the word that is starting with highest is giving you the smallest number. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, is it right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why do we call it as highest common factor then? So what is the difference between a factor and a multiple, depending on the question? So what is the difference between
A factor is when you divide a number, you get factors. When you multiply a number, you get a multiple.
Yes, that's right. So when you talk about multiple, so multiple is broken down into parts. You are going to get factors. That is why we do factorization in polynomials. That is why we do factorization in quadratic equations, right? So, but when factors are multiplied, what are you going to get? You will get a bigger number, which is a multiple. That is why we call it as least common multiple. We don't call it as least common factor. Similarly, we call it as highest common factor, not highest common multiple. Right? Multiple is a big number, factor is a small number. That's right. Right. So what is the relation between, when two numbers are there, what is the relation between their HCF and LCM?
HCF into LCM is equal to product of two numbers.
So HCF into LCM is equal to the product of two numbers. So is it applicable in the previous problem?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes, sir.
have
Yes.
6 into 20. That should be 120. What did we get the HCF as?
60 into 2.
What did we get the LCM
2
as?
into 60.
60. So it is matching. Yes. So with this knowledge, right? I'm just seeing. So the HCF of 306, 657 is equal to 9. Find the LCM of 306, 657. What are we supposed to do?
We can multiply both the numbers and divide them by 9. Sir.
So 306
306 into 657 by 9.
divided by 9. So what is going to be the answer? Do it fast and tell me. So I think this will be divisible by 9. Right? I'm able to see 7.
Even 306 will be divisible by 9, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Technically.
7. Because yeah, they are the numbers, no? We are taking the highest common multiple, least common multiple among both. So 306 into 657 is going to be 73. So 306 into 73 is going to be how much? So that is going to be the LCM. That part I'm leaving it to you. This is a textbook problem. Right? Next is, I need some blank slides. So, in your textbook, there is this example, exercise problem 1.2, the seventh problem. So, the question is, there is a circular path around a sports field. Sonia takes 18 minutes to drive one round of the field, while Ravi takes 12 minutes for the same. Suppose they both start at the same point and the same time and go in the same direction. After how many minutes will they meet at the same starting point? So what are we supposed to do?
Find the LCM.
Let's see.
To find the LCM.
Okay, how much is it going to be? So Sonia takes 18 minutes to complete one drive. And here, Ravi takes 12 minutes for the same. Right. Suppose they both start at the same point and at the same time and go in the same direction. After how many minutes will they meet again at the starting point? So what is going to be the LCM?
36 minutes.
So how did you do that? 18?
18.
2 into
2
3
into
square.
2 square, 3 square.
2 into
3
3
square.
3 square.
Yeah.
Square.
12 is
2 square.
2 square into
2
3.
square into 3.
Square into 3.
square into 3. So LCM, what are we supposed to do?
2 square into 3 square.
Into 3 square.
Square into 3 square. So this is going to be
4
4
into
into
9, 36.
36.
39, 36.
The answer is going to be 36. So if I have to extend this question and slightly ask you, right? Suppose I want to frame a question like this. How many rounds will Sonia and Ravi complete by the time they meet?
36 by 18, 36 by 12.
So Sonia would have completed 2 rounds and Ravi would have completed 3 rounds. You're able to understand how we got it, right? So that 36 divided by 18 is going to give you the number of rounds, right? Next type of question that they will ask you is very famous ones. Prove that a given number is irrational. What are the steps that we are going to follow?
First, we need to assume that they are rational.
Okay.
Contradiction.
So first of all, can
Then
someone
we
give me
should
yeah, I need an understanding of what is an irrational number according to you.
It has
So
a
what-
non-terminating and non-recurring decimal.
Yes. So non-terminating and
Non-recurring.
non-recurring decimal. So if a fraction has this kind of a format, then it is going to be an irrational number. Now, what are we supposed to do? We need to prove that root 2 is an irrational number. But the question is, immediately, without a doubt, you people told me that root 2 take it as a by b. Right? So what method are we actually following here? What is the name of that method?
Contradiction.
So we are going to contradict. So whenever you need to prove something using contradiction, first, what do we need to assume? We need to assume that something is true. Right? So what are you going to assume? That root 2 will be equal to a by b is true. You are assuming that root 2 is a rational number such that
B is not equal to 0 and A and B are co-primes.
So what do you mean by co-primes? What are co-primes? We know what are primes. What are co-primes?
They only have one as the common factor.
So co-primes are numbers which do not have any other common factor than 1. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, I accepted, you assume this, but what are you going to prove? Like what theorem from mathematics are we going to take to prove that root 2 can never be rational?
The theorem that states that if a square is divisible by if p square is divisible by a, then p is also divisible.
Come again. If
p square is divisible by a, then p is also divisible by a.
okay. So what theorem is that? It's just a theorem, that's it. Right. So what should that come again. I have a question from that. Can repeat the statement? If
P square is divisible by A, then
By
P
A.
is also divisible by
then
A.
what is that A?
It is any integer, any positive integer.
No, think and tell me. Do you have your textbook in front of you?
Yeah.
So what is the statement? See. Some important results. Let's see the first point.
Yeah, P should be a prime number and A should be a positive.
A prime number, not any integer, right? So it should be a prime number. So please make a note. If P is any prime number and A is any positive integer, right? If the prime number divides A square, then the prime number will divide A also. Correct? Right? So in this contradiction, I want you all to think and write the statement of what should I write in the next step. So root 2 is equal to A by B. So I'm saying if P is a prime number, right? So can I also, do you also know the fact that square root of a prime number is always irrational?
Yes, sir.
Is it right?
Yes,
So
sir.
square root of, you want me to repeat the statement? Okay. Yeah. So here we are discussing about irrational number. Our job is to prove that root 2 is an irrational. So square root of a prime number, 2 is a prime number, is irrational. Right? So what I need to do is I need to use that statement. If P is a prime number that divides A square, then the same prime number P will also be able to divide A. So for that, what should I do? Square on both sides. If I square on both sides, what am I going to get? 2 will be equal to
A square by B square.
2 is equal to A square by B square.
A square by B square. From here, how do I use the theorem?
2B square.
So 2B square is equal to A square.
So A square is equal to 2B square means I'm able to write A square as a multiple of the 2.
Yes, sir.
So from here, what can I conclude?
2 can divide A. So A square. A square can be.
Okay, I'll go with your statement. You want me to write that 2 divides A square? Is that what you want me to write? 2 divides A square. That implies
2 divides
2
A.
divides A.
so 2 divides A also. Next, what should I write? Is that all? So
No,
from this,
sir.
what is that we are going to get?
A is equal to 2C.
So we can take A is equal to 2C.
A is equal to 2C is what I can take. So if I take
So
A,
then we need to square on both sides. So we'll get A square is equal to 4C square.
okay, you want to do that? A square is equal to 4C square. Then
We can
what will you-
substitute A square as 2B
Yeah,
square.
please. On the left hand side, you're saying, is that right?
Yes,
Is this
sir.
step,
Yes,
this
sir.
step you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to substitute 4C square is equal to 2B square. Then what do you
2
get?
and 4 gets cancelled. So B square is equal to 2C square.
So what does this give us?
2 divides B
B
square.
square
So
is
2
equal to
divides
2.
B also.
2 divides B also.
Uh,
But which assumption of ours is actually contradicting the statement?
That A
the
and B are
assumption that
co-prime.
root 2 is
A and B are
rational.
not co-prime anymore.
A and
A
B
and B are
not
co-prime.
complex.
We assume that A and B are co-prime. Where did we take it from? We took it from the definition of rational number.
Yes, sir.
Correct? So rational number, when you need to express it, write it in the simplest form. When I write it in the simplest form, they are going to become co-primes. Perfect. You guys are. So I hope everyone is clear with this, right? Is there anyone who's not clear? So I'm able to see that you had enough practice on these things. Okay. Right. So you will be able to solve the problem based on this concept. Next is rational numbers and their decimal expansion. That also we discussed. Rational numbers and their decimal expansions. Okay. So if x is any rational number, then what did we conclude? It will have a terminating decimal value if if what is able to be expressed in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n?
Denominator.
The denominator. Q should be able to be expressed as 2 power m into 5 power n. It is going to have a terminating value. If not, it is going to be non-terminating. Okay. So we'll do two problems. I don't want to waste time on this because you guys already have clarity in this. We'll concentrate on pair of linear equations. Okay. Suppose the questions are given like this. 0.0875. So what are you going to do? So I want you to express this in the form of P by Q. So how will you do it?
875 by 10,000.
875 divided by
10,000.
10,000 is going to be 10 power
4.
4. So 875 divided by, how can you write this 10 power 4 as? You can write it as 2 power 4 into 5 power 4. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's the logic.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you're able to do this. Anyways, this is not the problem they are going to ask you. Right. They are not going to ask you to express the decimal in the rational form. This is from your 9th standard. Now the reverse will be asked. Right. So if the number 3 by 8 is given to you, find out whether it has a terminating or a non-terminating decimal value. 1 minute time. Not even 1 minute, 30 seconds. Do it fast.
Terminating, sir.
So how did you say that?
2 to the power 3 into 5 to the power 0, sir.
Okay. So is there a possibility where you can bring them to be equal powers? So 3 to the 3 by 2 power 3 into 5 power
0.
Correct. Okay. So the better way of me thinking about this is, can I write it as 3 into 5 power 3 by 2 power 3 into 5 power 3? Can I do it like this? Because
Yes,
when I asked you why is the 2 power m into 5 power n is coming, Neeraj told me that, correct, Neeraj, you told right? Because 2 into 5 is going to give us 10, but the 2 into 5 will give you 10 only if the powers are same. Correct? So 3 into 5 power 3 divided by 2 power 3 into 5 power 3. So this is going to have a terminating value. Similarly, let me take the 7 by 80 first. By prime factorization 80, 2, 40, 2, 20, 2, 10, 2, 5. So what will you write?
2 to the power 4 into 5 to the power 1.
Basically 16 into 5, no? 7 divided by 2 power 4 into 5 power 1. That's it.
Yes.
Right. So it is also going to have a terminating value. Right. Suppose I have this 29 divided by 343. What is the answer? Is it going to be terminating or non-terminating?
Non-terminating, sir.
How did you say that? Because 343, what are you
It's
going to
not
get?
divisible by 5 or 2, sir.
Not divisible by 4.
Not divisible by 5 or 2, so you cannot express it in the form of 2 power m into 5 power n. So if it is not divisible, if you have to express it as a prime factor, like the composite number has to be broken down and expressed in terms of prime number, how will you do it? So what will you start with? 3?
Yeah.
How much is it? 3 power? Even without doing, tell me 3 power?
Sir, it's not divisible by 3.
It's not divisible by 3.
Not divisible.
It's not divisible.
11.
It will be 7. So 7 means, are you going to get 49?
7 cubes, sir.
So it is going to be 7 cube. So 29 divided by 7 cube. So that is going to be the answer. Tell me one thing. You guys are already good with this chapter, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm able to see. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So can we start pair of linear equations?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. Give 1 minute, no? I'll be back. Yeah. So we are supposed to discuss real numbers and polynomials, right? Yeah. So can someone tell me what is a polynomial? A quick revision. So this you have been learning since last year. So basically, what is a polynomial? It is an expression. So it is an algebraic expression where you write something as P of X, right? So if you write something as P of X, what does this P stand for? P stands for the name of the polynomial. And what does this X stand for? X stands for the variable, right? So P stands for the name of the polynomial and X stands for the variable. Then what is the general form in which you write a polynomial?
X square plus bx plus.
Sorry, that is a quadratic. I'm asking general. When I say general form of a polynomial, I want it in terms of n. It's there in front of your eyes. So how you have not learnt or what? Neeraj and all? Mithun, can you tell me that? Mithun?
Yes, sir. What's the question, sir?
I'm asking what is the general equation of a polynomial? Or general expression?
Sir,
You have learnt it or not? No?
not sure, sir.
Okay. Anybody? Rashmi, can you try?
Sir, can you please repeat your question once?
I'm saying, what is the general expression for a polynomial? How do you generally write a polynomial? Basically, what is a polynomial? Can you tell me that?
It's an algebraic expression.
Okay, in the algebraic expression, what is it going to have as a part of combinations?
It's going to have variables and constants together.
It has the constants and variables. Am I right? So those constants and variables, they get multiplied and that combination will get added. Can I say something like that? So P of X is equal to, can you give me an example of a linear polynomial? Anybody? What is a linear polynomial?
A linear polynomial is but the highest degree is 1.
Highest degree is 1 because linear stands for 1.
One.
Yes, yes, correct. So P of X, how should I write the general expression for a linear polynomial? By looking at it, how will you say there is a linear polynomial?
Ax plus b.
Ax plus b is going to be a linear polynomial. Am I right? Can I say it?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Suppose I put a question like this: P of X is equal to b. Okay, where b is some real number. Can I call this as a polynomial?
Yes, sir.
Can I?
No, sir.
Confused.
Sir, sir, it's a constant polynomial, right?
Correct. It is a constant polynomial. So how many of you have a doubt in this? How many of you think that this is not a polynomial? P of x is equal to b, because I used only a constant here. So if P of x is equal to b means, can I write it as b into x power 0? Can I? Am I allowed to put the power? Am I allowed to put the power of x to be 0?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Mithun, I think you're closer to the mic there. There is some disturbance when you're unmuting. I'm not sure who it is, but
So I didn't speak right now.
you didn't speak. Somebody is closer to mic. I don't know who it is. Okay, please check that. Okay, if you're closer to the mic, slightly be away. So P of x is equal to b into x power 0. So what is the least power of x that can be substituted for it to be called as a polynomial? This is very, very important.
2, sir.
0.
Oh, 0.
The least value is 0. Means the power of x can always be what numbers? See, for example, I put a question like this. P of x is equal to
Whole
2 into
numbers.
x power half. Is it a polynomial?
No, sir.
Why?
Because the power should only be whole numbers.
The power should always be a whole number. Are you able to understand? So for any expression, mathematical expression to be called as a polynomial, the power of the variable should always be a whole number. Right? And so what is there in this chapter? Can you tell me? With respect to your CBSE, what do you have? It's a
So
very
we have
simple.
quadratic polynomials, and
Okay.
the zeros, we have to find the zeros of the polynomial, and we have to
Verification of
verify it.
zeros.
And the relation between zeros and the coefficients of quadratic polynomials. You don't even have cubic, right?
Yes, sir. No cube.
Yes, sir.
No cubic. So it's very simple. When it comes to word part, there is nothing to, discuss much. So, but yeah, I just want to take you through these concepts, because if at all any question comes in assertion reason, right, you need to know the theory, right? So we need to know the theory to understand whether the statement and the reason have some validations. So, you know what is a 0 degree polynomial? 0 degree polynomial is also called as a constant polynomial that we discussed now. Right? Look at the statement for it. What does it say? Any non-zero number is regarded as a polynomial of degree 0 or a 0 degree polynomial if the power of n is going to, if the power of x is going to be a 0. So this is how you write it. No? So don't worry, these notes will come to you. Just concentrate on the content part. And when it comes to problem, do it along with me. Second is a constant polynomial we discussed now. Next is a linear polynomial. So what is a linear polynomial? A polynomial of degree 1. So 4x minus 3 is a polynomial. Accepted. Root 3 plus 5, is it a polynomial? You have a root 3. Is it a polynomial? F of t is equal to root 3 plus 5. What did we discuss?
It is a polynomial, sir.
It's a polynomial, sir.
Is it a polynomial? But we told whole numbers, no?
No, sir. The power is a whole
Power
number.
should be a whole number.
Whole number concept is applicable only for
Powers.
Hours.
the power of the variables, nothing to do with the constants. So constants can be any real number, right? So quadratic polynomial. What is the quadratic polynomial? This is the one with
Polynomial with degree 2.
Highest degrees.
with degree 2, right? That's it. Now, can someone tell me what do you mean by zeros of a polynomial?
the two numbers or whatever numbers which when multiplied will form the polynomial.
No, I just have a question here. What did you say? Can you come again?
There are 2 zeros or 2 or more zeros which when multiplied form
Priya,
the number.
Priya, I just want to ask one question. You told 2 zeros confidently. Why did you say?
Yeah, that's for quadratic. I'm sorry.
It's for quadratic, right? But I didn't ask for a
2 or
quadratic.
more.
I asked what is the zero of a polynomial? If P of X is there, okay, I want you all to concentrate. See, I'm just going to give you a different perspective. Okay. So if P of X is there, for example, AX plus B is there. Okay. What is the zero of this polynomial?
X.
The value of
Which
which makes the polynomial 0.
Value of X when you substitute it in the polynomial should generate.
It should give 0.
It should give a 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So if that's the case, for you to find the 0, you need to take that polynomial and equate it to 0. Then AX plus B is equal to 0 implies X is equal to
Minus B by A.
B by A. Right. Now the question is, what degree polynomial is this?
Linear.
It is, yeah, it is of degree 1. So polynomial of degree 1 is going to have how many zeros?
1.
1 0.
What can you conclude? Can I say that degree decides the number of zeros?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I right? So this is another important point to be noted. Okay. So I want you all to make notes of this point. So degree decides the number of zeros. So if a polynomial is of degree 1, you are going to have 1 0. If it is of order 2, that is degree 2, the number of zeros are going to be 2. That is why quadratic has 2 zeros. If it is 3, it is going to have 3. Am I right? So as
Sir.
simple as that. Yeah. No. If I put, okay, sorry, did you all make a note of it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall I proceed then? No.
Yes, sir.
Listen. So find the zeros of the polynomial x square minus 2x minus 8. See here in this, they have used f of x. Nothing to worry, you can use p of x also. So p of x is equal to x square minus 2x minus 8 and verify the relationship between the zeros and their coefficients. So what are we supposed to do?
Splitting the middle term.
So p of x is equal to 0. So this is what you do to find zeros. Am I right? Now I have a question here. What is the difference between a quadratic polynomial and a quadratic equation? Anybody with that?
A quadratic polynomial.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear. I'm not able to hear. Who's speaking? Sai Vignesh, yeah, can you come a little closer to the mic?
Sir, a quadratic polynomial is where it is not equal, it is equal.
So quadratic polynomial is just an expression. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Then what is a quadratic equation? We call it as equation. When can something
It
become
is equal to 0.
When
something-
that expression is equated to 0.
Yes. So by you finding the zeros of a polynomial, you are actually converting a quadratic polynomial to a quadratic equation. Accepted? Are you doing it? Means x square minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Correct?
Sir.
Yes.
Now, how are you going to factorize? Factorization you have been learning since long time.
Sir, x
By
square plus
splitting the
2x
middle
minus
term,
4x minus 8, sir.
So I just want to know the method.
Splitting the middle term.
Splitting the middle term.
Before you split the middle term, what is the first preliminary check you need to do? You split the middle term according to... You need to check the coefficient of x square. If it is not 1, then you need to multiply the coefficient of x square and the constant. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So when you do that, you get minus 8 here in this problem. See, I know it is a simple problem, but I just have to explain this. Minus 8 means what are going to be the factors? Factors
4 and
means
2.
Minus 4 and
multiple broken into smaller parts. So I can have 2 and 4, but I have a minus. So should I
Minus
put
2,
that?
4 or 4?
minus
Yeah,
1.
which
Minus 2
one
and
should I?
4 or 2 and minus 4?
Minus 2 and 4 can come, or 2 and minus 4
In
can
this
come.
case, it should be minus 4 and 2, sir.
It is minus 4 and 2. Why?
Yes, sir.
Why is it so?
Because minus 2 plus 4 does not
Because the
gives plus
middle
2.
term is
Minus 2.
Minus
negative.
2.
Negative nala. Whichever number is highest, that should have a minus sign. So x square minus 4x plus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So can
Yes.
I write this as x into x minus 4 plus 2 into
2
x?
into x minus 4.
So x plus 2 into x minus 4 is going to be equal to 0. So x is going to be equal to 2
4 or
plus
minus 2 or 4, sir.
Minus 2 or 4.
minus 2.
Minus 2 or 4.
Minus 2 or 4. So minus 2 and 4 are called as zeros. See, listen to this carefully, okay? They are called as zeros of the quadratic polynomial, right? Whereas, if the same problem is given in quadratic equation, you call them as roots. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
It's the same term, okay? It's the same number, but in the context you are dealing, it is given a different name. When you are dealing with polynomial, you call it as zeros. When you're dealing with quadratic equations, you call them as roots. Okay, some books refer to it as solutions also. So if suppose I put a question like this, find the roots of the quadratic equation, what am I expecting you to do? Factorize it and find the factors. If I say find the solution of a quadratic equation, what am I expecting? Same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, now, okay, I hope this everybody knows. It's a very simple concept. All right, now they're asking the relation between their coefficients, right? They're asking what? They're asking the relation between their coefficients. So what is it?
So
If
if the zeros are alpha and beta,
Correct. Okay,
then
by
alpha
only
plus
takes
beta.
alpha.
The
and
sum
beta.
of the zeros and product of the zeros.
Yes. So alpha plus beta should give you what?
Minus b by 8.
Minus b by 8.
It is minus of minus 2 by 1.
So alpha into beta should give
C
you
by 8.
c by
C
8.
by 8. Am I right? Okay.
Yes,
So I
Yes.
know. So I just want to find out why is it so? Why should it only be minus b by? I can write it as minus a by b. No, my wish. Why is it only minus b by? Anybody?
So because we just solved it, sir. P of x is equal to ax plus b.
Okay.
This is equal to 0.
See, you're saying this because you verified this result and you're saying that it is true. Am I right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what you're? But my question is, in the first place, how did it even come out?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Anybody who knows? We have blindly accepted, no? It's actually not a big thing.
Yeah, we know the proofs, sir. You've taught us before.
I thought, but others I'm seeing. Others who have not learned, I want them to understand. See, I'll not take much of your time, okay? It is only to give you more confidence. I'm just going to explain it in 2 minutes. So, what is the polynomial you considered? You considered a quadratic polynomial. Am I right? Mithun, Riya, Rashmi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you guys are with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So, what are you saying is, listen to this, okay? This is a very simple grammar of mathematics which you need to understand. Again, I'm explaining all these things only having the assertion reason in my mind. I don't want you guys to lose marks there. Okay. So if I say x is equal to alpha and x is equal to beta, what is this alpha and beta called as?
Zeros.
Zeros with respect to whom? With respect to a polynomial, or roots with respect to a
Equation.
Quadratic polynomial.
quadratic equation. Right. So that is a simple. Now, if x is equal to alpha, can I write x minus alpha is equal to 0? Can I write
Yes,
x
sir.
minus beta is equal to 0? See, if alpha and beta are called as roots, then what is x minus alpha and x minus beta called as?
Zeros.
They are not zeros. They are called factors. Purida. Why are they called
Yes, sir.
factors?
Yes, sir.
What are factors? Factors are smaller numbers. When multiplied, will give you a bigger number. Will give you a multiple. Right? So, observe what I'm going to do is, I'll take this a outside. I'm not interested in it. Okay? Then what will I get inside? X square plus b by a into x plus c by a. Is there any doubt in this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, what I'm trying to say is, this ax square plus bx plus c is actually formed because of this x minus alpha into x minus beta. So what I'm saying is, I will write this as a into, can I write it as x minus alpha into x minus beta? It's just simple logic, okay? X minus alpha is a factor, x minus beta is a factor. This x square plus b by a into x plus c by a is the multiple. Purida. So cancel this
Yes,
a and a, cancel this a and a. X square plus b by a into x plus c by a is equal to, multiply these terms and tell me.
X square minus beta x minus alpha x plus
Can I write
alpha
it?
beta. Yes, sir.
Can I write it so that I can skip
Yes,
one
sir.
step? Okay, now you compare both the sides. X square
Gets cancelled.
alpha minus alpha plus beta. This side, what do you have? The coefficient of x.
Plus b
B
by
by a. What is alpha plus beta?
minus b by
Minus b by.
Here you have alpha beta. Here you have.
b by b by.
Now you understood. Now you understood.
yes, sir.
That's it. This is all you need to know. That's it. Okay, so it is whatever you have seen in mathematics has not come directly. There is a reason behind it. If you question it, answer will be simple. You will not forget it. Okay. Because why I taught is, in some people make a mistake of getting confused. Alpha plus beta, they write it as b by a, and alpha beta, they write it as minus c by a. If at all you forget, you can derive it. You guys know it better. Clear? So this is how
Yes, sir.
it is. So suggest you all to please make a note of it. Yeah. We'll solve some more problems. I'm just taking out the paper. So is there any other concept which you want me to explain? Is there anything you have studied but you have not understood, which you want me to explain?
No, sir.
So let me share my screen. Yeah. So I'm going to give you some questions. You are going to solve it along with me. Yeah. So, but before that, you're able to see this question, right? Will you be able to write the quadratic polynomial?
Sir.
Can you? Yeah, tell me, how do you write it?
Sir, x square minus
X
the sum of
minus-
zeros x plus product of zeros. So it's
X square minus of alpha plus beta into x plus alpha beta,
yes, sir.
right? So x square minus of, what is alpha plus beta? 10x.
10, sir. 10x.
5 plus root 2 into 5 minus root 2. They are conjugates of each other. Right? What are you going to
So
get?
5 square into root 2 square.
5 square minus 2.
Minus root 2 square. So it's 25 minus 4. So 2.
So 23. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So x square minus 10x plus 23 is going to be the answer. Don't put a 0. Don't do this. You should only stop with x square minus 10x plus 23. Okay, good. So cubic you don't have, so I'm not getting into that. Yes. Now we'll discuss. So I'm going to give you a question. Given that, okay, listen to this carefully. Given that one of the zeros of a quadratic polynomial, ax square plus bx plus c is 0. So what is that? There is a quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c, of which one of the zeros is 0 itself. Okay. So alpha is 0. They're asking what is the value of beta. 30 seconds time, do it fast. You should have got the answer by now. Did you understand the question or not? So
Not
ax
exactly, sir.
Minus b by a.
Minus b
Minus-
by a.
minus b by a. Okay. Minus b by a, because alpha plus beta is how much? Minus b by a. What is alpha? 0. So beta will be equal to minus b by a. That's it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So there is another question asked like this. If a real number alpha is a 0 of a polynomial, what is it? If alpha is 0 of a polynomial, then factor of f of x is what? I already taught you now.
X minus alpha.
That's the answer.
X minus alpha.
Right? Very good. So x square minus 6x plus 8 is there. Okay, this is one of the polynomials. You need to find the sum and product of zeros. Very simple. Sum is
Minus 6.
6, sir.
product is
Eight.
very simple. Okay. The maximum number of zeros that a polynomial of degree 3 can have.
3, sir.
3.
Because who decides?
Degree.
The degree of the polynomial.
That's right. So there is another problem like this. 4x square plus 5 root 2x. 4x square plus 5 root 2x minus 3 is a polynomial given. Find the zeros. 1 minute time. Be careful, coefficient of x is not, x square is not 1. 1 minute time and timer starts now. Is it tough?
So at the zeros 1, 1 by 2 root 2 and minus 3 by root 2.
1 by 2 root 2 and
minus 3 by root 2.
the options are not given like this. Can you rationalize and tell me? Take the root 2 to the numerator and tell me what is going to be the value. Root 2 by 4 minus 3 root 2 by 2. Correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the answer. So who told the answer?
Rashmi.
Rashmi. Good. So how did you get it?
Sir, first we have to we have to split the middle term.
That's
That
right.
is, okay, first we have to multiply 4 into 3.
So you
minus
got minus. You got
yeah,
minus.
we did minus 12.
Right.
So 6 root 2 into root 2 is
Okay.
minus 12.
How did you get that idea? 6 root 2 into root?
So because 6 into 2 is 12.
You
So
wanted to split the
factorization.
root 2? You wanted to split the 2 into root 2 as root 2. Good.
Yeah.
So which one should have a positive sign?
Sir, 6 root 2 minus root 2.
Very good. Because the middle term is positive. So highest number should have the positive sign. 4x square plus 6 root 2x minus root 2x.
Minus root 2x minus 3.
So what will you do?
So we'll take 2 root 2x outside.
You want to take 2 root 2x itself?
Yes, sir. 2 root 2x. Then inside the bracket, we'll get root 2x plus 3.
Or
No, sir, not 2 root 2, just root 2x plus 3.
Yeah. Root 2x
Plus
plus
3.
minus root 2 into minus x.
No, it's only minus 1.
Minus-
1.
1 into
Root 2x plus 3.
Plus. Correct. How many of you could solve this? Be honest. Others could not solve?
I solved it, sir.
You solved it? Huh? Okay, my question is very simple. Okay, let's say you get stuck with this. Okay, you don't get an idea of how to solve it in the exam hall. Is there any other hack that you can use?
The quadratic formula.
That's better. No? But you should not show it here. Okay. With that, you'll only get the value, and then from there you can do it. You'll know what are the roots. Okay, do a rough work and find out the roots and then bring it up. But instead, I would suggest better practice these kind of problems. Okay. Good. So there is another interesting problem. Alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial such that 2x square plus 5x plus zeros of the polynomial 2x square plus 5x plus k such that alpha square plus beta square plus alpha beta is 21 by 4. Find the value of k. Let's see how many of you are able to solve this. By the way, is there anyone who didn't understand the logic of previous problem? Sorry, I forgot to ask. Is everyone clear? Can I have a confirmation from everyone, at least in the chat box? Good. Okay, now I want you all to try this one. I gave you a problem. So alpha square plus beta square plus alpha beta is 21 by 4. Find the value of k. Anybody who can give me an idea?
Yeah, we should make it alpha plus beta whole square minus alpha beta.
Alpha plus beta the whole square minus alpha beta. So this part you want to write it as alpha plus beta the whole square minus
Alpha beta.
think and tell me.
Minus 2 alpha beta.
Minus 2 alpha beta.
Minus 2 alpha beta.
No, I
This
mean the
one-
whole thing.
I
I
understood
mean the
what you.
whole thing.
Yeah, I understood. I understood, but I wanted to find out what is the value for the first. So alpha plus beta the whole square minus alpha beta is equal to 21 by 4. So alpha plus beta is how much? Minus 5.
Minus 5.
So I'm going to get 25 by 4 minus alpha beta is k by 2 is equal to 21 by 4, which implies take k by 2 to the other side, 21 by 4 this side. So 25 by 4 minus 21 by 4 is equal to k by 2. I'm going to get 4 by 4, which is 1. So k will be equal to 2. Let me check if there is an option. Yeah, option is there. Now, so there is a theoretical question asked like this. If the zeros of the polynomial ax square plus bx plus c, where c is not equal to 0. I repeat it. So this ax square plus bx plus c has zeros which are equal. It has the zeros which are equal. Sure. 1 minute. Yes, I Vignesh. Make it work. Let me know once you're done, okay? Okay. So ax square plus bx plus c, where c is equal to 0, has zeros to be equal. Then the options given are c and a have opposite sign. B and c have opposite sign. C and a have the same sign. D, B and C have the same sign. I don't know what logic you're going to use. Think and tell me. I already have the answer. I thought about it. What is it? It's very simple. See, anybody who wants to try? Anybody who's willing to give me an answer or a logic for it?
Sir, b square minus 4ac should be, can you use that?
Not needed, no? Because here we have nothing to do with the quadratic equation. Logic is very simple. Don't think in terms of discriminant. I told you, no, whenever they use the word zeros, restrict your thought process to polynomials. Don't go beyond that. If they use the word roots, then think in terms of discriminant. That is a hint. Here they told zeros of a quadratic polynomial are equal. Okay. When they are equal, if you see the options that are given, they didn't ask you which one is positive and which one is negative. They told they have opposite signs. We don't know which one is having opposite and which one is having equal. Is that logic clear? Now, if the zeros are equal, if the first root is alpha, second root is also alpha. Correct? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, when I think of zeros of a polynomial, especially with respect to quadratic, right, I have sum of the roots and product of the roots. So 2 alpha is equal to minus b by a, and alpha square is equal to c by a. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now tell me logically, 2 alpha is equal to minus b by a. So b is in the numerator, a is in the denominator. So where is b and a option? Is there any option related to b and a? Nowhere. Okay. 2 alpha from this expression, right, minus b by a, is there anything that you can conclude with respect to the sign of a and b?
They have different signs.
You can't because you see 2 alpha is equal to minus b by a. It can be anything. because we don't know the sign of alpha. They told it is the alphas are equal. Whereas if I see alpha square is equal to C by A, what I'm able to conclude? Left hand side, I have a square. Alpha square, C by A is there. Means, since I have a square on the left hand side, right hand side by default should be positive. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
If it should be positive, then the ratio should generate a positive value. When can it generate a positive value? Only when C and A both have the same sign. Suppose C is negative, A is also negative. Negative and negative will get cancelled so that the whole expression is positive. If C is positive, A is positive, then no problem at all. So what should be the right option?
C.
C and A have the same.
C.
Is it clear? So more than the answer, right? Did you understand the logic of how to think?
Sir.
That is more important. Yeah. We'll do 2 more problems and then wind up. Okay. I have a question like this. If one of the zeros of the quadratic polynomial k minus 1 into x square plus kx plus 1 is minus 3, what is it? This is the quadratic polynomial. One of the zeros is minus 3. K is equal to how much? Answer?
Sir, one of the zeros is minus 3.
Yeah, one of the zeros is minus 3.
Sir, is the answer 4 by 3? The other
Option
zero is
is
4
there.
by 3.
Option is there, but I don't know if it is the answer. Let me check. 70. Yeah, that's right, ma'am. Logic?
So they've said one of the zeros is minus 3. So in the place of x, if we substitute minus 3, we'll get the answer.
That's right. So substituted, it should satisfy the equation. Right. So k minus 1 into 9 plus 3k plus 1 should be equal to 0. So 9k minus 9 plus 3k plus 1 should be equal to 0. 12k minus 8 is 0. So k will be equal to 8 by 12. Which is 4 by 3. Perfect. Very good. So 18th one. If alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial, 3x square plus 11x minus 4, then the value of alpha square plus beta square.
So is it 11x minus 4 or 1?
4. 4. So alpha plus beta. Don't look at the solution I'm doing. You concentrate. Yes. Thank you.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Sir, can you repeat the question?
We would answer. So question is 3x square plus 11x minus 4. Okay. If alpha and beta are the zeros of this polynomial, then find the value of alpha square plus beta square.
Thank you.
So 145 by 9.
Correct. So the logic is simple. I've solved it here. Have a look at it. Right. So I think it is simple, right? So remaining problems you can try. So I'll be sharing a worksheet. Okay. You will get it tomorrow. And go through that worksheet and solve for the problems. Is there any other doubt that you have? Are things clear? So tomorrow's class will be discussing the pair of linear equations and quadratic equations. Right?
Yes, sir.
So just go through the concepts. Okay. And I hope you all would have received the numbers, no? Today, the sheet was shared in the group. You know the numbers to which you need to message when you have any doubts. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. So that's it from my side. Shall we wind up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay.
I'll
Sir.
see
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Saturday's foundation class online now.
Online in the morning, you will get it from the school. Don't worry about it.
Sir, morning is Saturday we have school.
Saturday I have school.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because of higher pension and we after school.
Oh, compensation. Then it will not be online, rather. I'll see. Okay.
Sir, we
I'll
have
see
school every Saturday.
Ria, what is your question, ma?
We have school every Saturday, sir.
No. This is something else. This is not about this course. Yeah. We'll see the Sai Vignesh. You'll get an update. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.